Welcome to JCTV's Spotlight on the Arts, a special feature of Mid-Missouri Art News. Today is October 11th, 2017, in a fall wet setting of Missouri State Capital, Jefferson City, Missouri. I'm your host, Rick J. Thank you for tuning in and viewing the show today. I have a very special guest today, Dr. Bryan Salmons of Lincoln University, who will share with us a personal perspective on Lincoln University here at Jefferson City, Missouri, a historically black HBCU public land grant university founded in 1866 by African American veterans of the American Civil War. In 2007, U.S. News and World Report ranked Lincoln University number 3 for economic diversity, number 5 for campus ethnic diversity, and number 9 for most international students. Lincoln U offers a wide range of academic study, personal and social programs and services that meets the needs of its diverse population. And today, I am honored once again to mention a guest, Dr. Salmons, who is the department head over Humanities and Communications, which falls under the university's College of Arts and Sciences. On today's show, we will learn more about Lincoln University from a hands-on staff member concentrating on the arts perspective, and also learn a little bit about Dr. Salmons. Dr. Salmons, welcome. I am truly excited to turn the spotlight on you today.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Well, please tell us a little bit about you and those highlights of your life that best describe Dr. Bryan Salmons today and yesterday and whatever's happening.
Well, I'm a native of eastern Kentucky, come from a small town called Mount Sterling. That's about 35 miles east of Lexington. Spent most of my life up through my mid-20s in Kentucky. And then I went away to PhD school at Southern Illinois University, Carbondale. And most people who are in academia know that it's a little like the military, and that you move around a lot until you find where you're supposed to be.
I see.
And I came to Lincoln ultimately in 2009. I've been here ever since.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. And family, your current living situation?
Well, my wife and I have 2 children, and we're anxiously awaiting the birth of twins, which is imminent.
Excellent. Now, do you know the male and female
Yeah.
names picked out?
It's a boy and a girl.
Excellent.
We've chosen names, Jacob and Eva.
Excellent. Wow, that's great. Would you like to say any personal shout-outs at this time to family in Kentucky, what have you?
In Kentucky, yeah. Hi to all my MoCo peeps. That's for Montgomery County.
Montgomery County, MoCo peeps.
Yes.
And yes, welcome to JCTV Spotlight on the Arts, Dr. Salmons. Well, Dr. Salmons, can you share with us when and how you first were inspired to become interested in filling a position such as the one you fill today for Lincoln University?
I was thinking about that question. I think that the only way to answer it is to go kind of far back. I was a bit of an indifferent student in high school, and one day I read a short story by Somerset Maugham, who's most famous, of course, for the novel Of Human Bondage. Oh, wow. And it was a short story called The Verger, and it was just a little thing, little, Chekhovian type of short story with a little epiphany in it.
Yes.
And for some reason, that really affected me. I loved it so much that I just started reading other things, and it wasn't long until I realized that for whatever reason I could get something out of reading literature that other people, for the most part, seem not to. So,
I see.
And from there, I became an English major, and I was off and running. very impractical course to take in life, of course. I was probably on my way to getting my master's before somebody asked me in all seriousness, well, what do you intend to do?
Sure.
To that point, I had just been trying to enrich my interior life, I guess. But that also put into stark relief for me the fundamental difference I found between people who love the humanities and people who seek a more vocational type of education. I think that love of humanities is self-justifying for most of us, and we don't necessarily think practically. That displeases a lot of parents, understandably, but I do believe it gives you a richer interior life, and that's usually how I try to sell it.
Especially as a reader or a writer. Now, do you write? Are you have the love of write?
I like to write. I mean, I used to write more creatively, but I found that as I advanced in my studies, it tends to overdevelop the critical aspect of your intellect to the point where you demolish in a nascent stage all of your creative efforts. I often point out to my students there have been very few creative writers who were equally accomplished as critics. So at some point you have to choose.
Yes, I was just thinking that would be very important what you just shared with us to a student, and more or less to help direct, or maybe put that person more at ease in what direction to go, where they have a basis on making some decisions, maybe for the future, reaching their own doctorate.
Exactly.
So that is a very important commentary there, Dr. Salmons. Due to the new budget guidelines, I know throughout the community of Jefferson City and the outlying communities that we're reaching, they always come to me and ask me about the JCTV, its longevity, and the troubles it's looking at budget-wise. So the budget guidelines, I understand that a restructuring of areas of study has taken place within the last year.
Yes.
And you now are the department head, as mentioned before, over humanities and communications. Can you share with our viewers your perspective on this new constructor, for example, art, journalism, music, speech, theater?
Yeah, it's a little bit unwieldy, to be perfectly frank. I don't know that we have many useful models to go off of. It's unusual to have wrenched together, if you will, this many otherwise disparate subjects under one heading.
Yes.
We're trying to make it work. I think right now we're still seeking points of purchase, places where the performing arts can work together with the more critical and reflective arts. Yes. And I think we're making progress, but it is a work in progress.
I can imagine it would be quite a feat to try to bring those, shall we say, in my communities together under one umbrella.
Oh, sure.
and make it a win-win situation for everyone as far as the academic successes and still getting across to the students. Now, I can go back to many years and speak to people. We just had the gentleman on, Phil Jones, who's had 3 generations that have been graduates. And that means a lot. I mean, that's just one individual, but every week I run across so many that talk about attending Lincoln University. I know before I left the area and moved to Tucson, Arizona to chase down a career in outdoor recreation with the Bureau of Outdoor Recreation, and after the current administration phased that out. So I know what losing a job means in that sense. So I turned to radio and TV, broadcasting, etc. So I know even then Lincoln was one of those stable, shall we say, universities. That person knew that he was going to get a great education from a great sort of staff. Yeah. So that continues on these days.
Absolutely. We're undergoing a period of change, but it's not a period of instability. It's a period of redefinition, and the Lincoln will remain a constant in the educational firmament.
Excellent, good to hear. And I guess you might want to say something to your staff at this time if you have any condolences.
Condolences. I hope not condolences.
Well, not condolences.
I would say to them, good job.
Good job.
This has been an unusual season, if you will, so far. But
I see. Yeah. It takes a lot of effort, I can see, from a lot of people to continue on. Well, Dr. Salmons, we must take a short break. After the break, we will take a look at what is happening in those study areas of art, journalism, music, speech, and theater. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to JCTV Spotlight on the Arts. I'm Rick J., your host, with special guest Dr. Bryan Salmons of Jefferson City, Missouri, which holds a position here at Lincoln University. He's going to share the highlights now of what's happening at Lincoln University, more of an extended version, looking at different elements of the programs offered here. Dr. Salmons, you've shared so much before the break. I now would like to ask you if you'd like to share with me and our viewers what is happening with the following areas of study. For example, let's look at journalism. What can you share with us?
It's a very exciting time in journalism for us. Mr. William Seitz, who's our journalism coordinator, has initiated a new drone program. He purchased a drone and he went through all the training in order to get the licensures to fly it.
Excellent.
And he's brought it to campus, and we believe, I don't want to state something controversial, but we've done a lot of research, and as far as we can tell, we are the first HBCU in this country that will be offering the opportunity for its students to both study with drones and get their own licensures, and that will happen this next spring. So we're very excited about that.
Excellent. And that's becoming basically the state of art for news reporting.
Absolutely.
Journalism, should we say copy, going out, and it can add so much to the overall presentation. So
we believe it's going to make our students a lot more competitive when they hit the job market too. Having that licensure will open some doors for them.
The license and the training to get such.
Exactly.
So that sounds really neat. So students, future students, remember they now have a drone program. That's really exciting to hear that. Well, you know, the journalism class, we're talking about JCTV, or the journalism department. I want to thank personally at this time Ms. Gloria Enlow, Art Gerhard, Dan Yeager, and the students for making this program, Spotlight on the Arts, under Mid-Missouri Art News, really a success. and that definitely shows on the viewership, especially on YouTube. Now, if we're looking, now I guess we should take a look at art. What can you share with us that's happening in the art?
Well, the most exciting thing going on right now, Mr. Essex Gardner, who is professor of art here at Lincoln, has an exhibition going on. If I can hold this up, it's called Passages of My Time.
Yes.
It's currently on display in Memorial Hall here in the campus of Lincoln, and it will be up from September through December. I believe he has plans to also take it to Kansas City in February. Mr. Garner is very talented, and I understand you've interviewed him before.
December 14th of 2016. It was like the third program, so I was very honored to not only call Mr. Garner a friend, but also to have him on the show. He has so much talent, and it's just great to rub elbows with people like that. They inspire me with my artwork.
Absolutely.
So, now, do you have any other exhibits that you have planned for the 2017-18?
In art, I know that the students have their own exhibitions on a needs basis.
Yes.
I'm unaware of anything planned at the moment, but I'm certain there will be in the spring. So, we'll definitely try to get the word out about that. The art program here is very vibrant. I've been impressed, just having recently taken over management, if you will, of that area. I've been deeply impressed with both the commitment and the level of talent that we have in the instruction.
I have to agree with that and endorse that 100%. The university is usually part of the Art About Town, where we have a spring show where we walk from gallery, a walk-a-thon, you might say, almost, when you're finished, but it's really worth it. And the university's art is always part of that. So we're seeing so many talented students. And then you have a graphic arts also department, and I've talked to different students of older age that are involved with that, are picking up so much from it and have learned so much from it. So it's great to hear that you're still hanging in there with that.
Absolutely.
Well, let's turn to music. I'm a music fan myself.
Me too.
Play the guitar and do a little singing in the past whenever I get a chance. But so give us a little idea of what's happening with the music.
The most exciting thing coming up is on Friday, December 1st, the Lincoln University Choir will be having its Christmas concert.
Yes.
That will be here in Mitchell Auditorium on the campus of Lincoln at 7:30, and it's free to the public. And I encourage people to come out for that. Those folks can really sing, and I'm sure it will put you in the holiday spirit.
Excellent. Now that's December 1st. Dr. Salmons shares with us December 1st, 7:30 p.m. in the
Mitchell Auditorium.
And the acoustics in the Mitchell Auditorium are fantastic.
Absolutely.
So you've got to put that on your calendar. Bring the youngsters, inspire them with a little music, and the possibility in the future attending Lincoln University if they're into music. If we see so that's basically the main performance of that we have scheduled. Now we turn to another, my love, as far as an actor, what have you, speech and theater.
Yeah.
The study of theater is always naturally interesting. Speech is always tied into it. You have to learn certain things, the elements of speech and delivery and contact with the audience, the crowd, key issues for theater. So please enlighten us somewhat.
I was really pleasantly surprised to note that we had 62 students signed up for an introduction to theater class. Now that's an applied class. There is an acting element to it. It's not merely appreciation of theater. So I think we might have some thespians in the making, coming up through the ranks there. We're a little understaffed in that area at the moment, but I think we'll be able to address that in the near future. And I would like to see us get back to a more robust theater program where we're putting on regular performances again. I think that that's something, there's a rich tradition, of course, going back to the days of Pauley
Yes.
here at Lincoln, of having a robust theater program, and we need to get back there, and I'm confident we will.
Excellent. Now, have you have an open door to volunteers that are screened possibly that would help out and maybe inspire this area of theater?
Are you available?
I could be available. I do look for talent on occasions,
Sure.
and I refer them to Images Agency, who I'm with. I just signed with 360 models and performers out of San Diego, LA area. Just received that personally about 2 days ago. So
Nice.
I have different areas of representation that have chosen again to find me another grandfather role. You know, I guess this gray hair.
Have you been
has
typecast?
I've been typecast, I think. Although I was asked to, believe it or not, put on a costume of a Teenage Mutant Turtle. And
No
of course, I had no speaking part, but it paid.
Well, hey.
But I reluctantly denied that.
Do you believe the old adage, there are no small parts, only small
I
actors?
believe that, because if you're going to stay active and keep your tack somewhat sharp, you know, you have to stay busy, and
Right.
so I guess it's in your blood. I've got so much in my blood, it seems like it's just between the artwork and the acting.
Sure.
But yes, I want to advise not only an extended, I guess, or higher, not the introductory, but they do have a course called SPT 379, which is the theory and techniques of acting. And you do know that whether you're doing a commercial or if you're standing on a stage or if you're in a film, you've got to learn these certain techniques.
Right. Yeah, I remember, it had a big impact on me. I took a similar class as an elective when I was an undergrad. Of course, I was an English major, but I took a class in one of the textbooks we had to purchase, was Uta Hagen's Respect for Acting.
Oh, yes.
And
I think
I really absorbed that thing.
Awesome.
Didn't do anything for my acting, but I learned to watch for some of the methodology, you know, at work. So.
Key elements. I've had, I have proof that it does work. Getting in front of a crowd of 30,000 people, and you're taught to make eye contact with the few in the front. And at one point, I was accused. Back at the radio station 2 days later, accused of flirting with a gentleman's wife. So she had such a pleasant face, and she was working right into my presentation delivery. It was an excellent response, but I had to assure the gentleman that I was not interested in his spouse and what have you. Well, Dr. Salmons, do you have any other topics you'd like to discuss?
Just one. I didn't get to announce what's going on in English.
Yes, English.
We have a very talented poet on our faculty. His name is Mr. Elijah Burrell. This is his previous work. It's a original collection of poems called The Skin of the River. And he has another coming out early next year called Troubler. And I encourage people to drop by the department if you want to pick up a copy. I'm sure I'll direct you to Mr. Burrell. He'd be more than happy to work with you on that. They won't be free, but they're worth the price of purchase, whatever it is. He's really something.
Awesome. That sounds great. Elijah Burrell.
Burrell,
Burrell, beg your pardon. Yes, please stop by and check it out if you're into poetry. Another perspective. It'll be interesting to dig in and see what line of thought he puts into his poetry. Well, I want to thank you for contributing, Dr. Salmons, to Spotlight on the Arts.
My pleasure.
It's been an honor and an educational experience visiting with you today. Have any closing words from your end?
respect the arts and keep supporting them, because they're a fundamental undergirding of a healthy culture.
Very well said. Very well said. Thank you again for being here. In other news, the Jefferson City Art Club invites you to their next monthly meeting, where you can view and listen live on the spot to the words and view art pieces from a presenter at each meeting. So the next meeting is scheduled for this coming Monday, the October 16th, 2017. The meeting begins at 5:30 p.m. with social hour, show and tell, while you enjoy food and refreshments, with the presenter beginning sharply at 6 o'clock p.m. Come and join others, as we say in the Jefferson City Art Club, for the love of art. Next, here on Spotlight on the Arts, I'll be interviewing Quilts of Valor spokesperson Jan Hobbs in this area. Every quilt is a piece of art, in my opinion, but when presented to a military veteran for his or her unforgiving service to our country, it really has a special meaning. I was very touched by receiving one in July of this year, and I still cherish it today. I'll be taking a special presentation October 27th of the next Quilts of Valor at the American Legion Hall, number 5 in Jefferson City, Missouri. That taping will be aired a short time thereafter. My next featured guest now, Mid-Missouri Art News, are artists Gail Levian of Jefferson City, Missouri, and Ron Furkel of Washington, Missouri. Both excellent artists. You'll have to take a look at and find out what makes their art so special. This program is special to tape on November 8th of this year, 2017. I also got a call from Rogersville, Arkansas this morning. They're having the Art Fest, the annual Art Fest. That's November 12th in Rogersville, Arkansas. That's at 5910 South Farm Road, number 193, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. That Art Fest is something you can load up and drive to and be entertained tremendously for a few hours. Also, Odette Blanche, if you remember, from Toronto, who was a guest here on the program, who is putting together the film What Did She Say with Past Lives Productions, who received a grant from the Cannes Festival to develop the film, which should go in production in January, February. She is still looking for those people interested in funding, as they're now trying to raise $40,000 extra, and that's under Indiegogo. There's also prizes for once you make a donation. Donations are tax deductible, and there are prizes for making the donation. Those funding for the movie, when it's finished, it goes internationally, will help create the international anti-trafficking agencies like the one in Missouri, in Columbia, Missouri Anti-Trafficking League against anti-trafficking, the coalition here in Missouri. So we want to invite you to go to Indiegogo or PastLivesProductionsInc.net and research that. Well, thank you, JCTV, producer Gloria Inlow, and camera crew. And thank you, our viewers, for joining us. Look for more Spotlight on the Arts right here on JCTV. And don't forget YouTube. I'm Rick J. saying, see you next time.